All right, we're live on Facebook. Thank you, Laura, for helping us get live. Nancy, thanks for being here with me. I'm so happy to have this chat with you. I love just sidebarring with people one on one. And you are a ferocious TikToker. You're in all these great groups. And I met you last, May?
That's me.
And so we're on this morning to talk with Nancy about her experience. So you joined one of the study groups back in the spring.
I did. I came to you like right after the 1st of May last year. You popped up on my FYP. I was relatively new to TikTok. As a matter of fact, I started out with goat grazers. I still follow the goats very closely. And one day you popped up on my FYP and it's like, well, let me go check this woman out. And then I went into Stop the Chaos, and it's the best thing I've ever done in my life.
I have a question. And so just so people know, we're just going to have a raw, unscripted conversation about Nancy's journey here. I am fascinated about watching families recover. And so thanks for being willing to share in this group, Nancy, because
Thank you.
it's brave to share and it's also brave to like buy Stop the Chaos. One question I have is when you first bought the training, which is video recordings, did you go right in and start watching it or did you not right away?
I did go in and start watching right away. I was so hungry at that point to try to find a resolution to the complete and total chaos, not to just overuse the word, but chaos that was going on within my life, within my body. And that day that I found you on my FYP was the day that I said, there is a way out of this.
Mm.
And I saw a light kind of at that end of the struggle tunnel with addiction tunnel. And I said, I can do this and I have to do this because I'm worth it. And so I jumped right into Stop the Chaos, reading your book simultaneously.
Oh, because it was right when the book came out.
Yeah. And it was wonderful.
So I'm really glad that you told us you were hungry and you went right in. I'm just wanting everyone who's listening to hear this because I observe more people buy Stop the Chaos than watch it. And some companies would just sell trainings and not track who's watching it. I
Mhm.
don't want to just sell trainings. I want people to change. So I'm not satisfied when I see the statistics in our metrics of people not watching it. So when you first joined, I had added a live component for a month to see if it helped people with accountability. But I love that you just dove right in. So that's what I want to point out about us as family and our loved ones with addiction. When we're hungry and we want it and we have high level of willingness, we're going to go in and do the things we need to do. But I would say there's probably a larger number of people that buy this training that don't watch it right away. It's not that they're not hungry, they're in a lot of pain. What do you think?
I think that there is I think that when no, I think that there could be that plateau of, oh man, what if I start something else? Is this just going to open up a whole nother bomb in my life? Do I really want to do this right now? I think as family members, which I mean, this is I'm a 25 plus year enabler of my son's addictions. And I have referred to myself as the master enabler for way too long. I just didn't know how to quit. I didn't know how to not be addicted to my son's addictions. And when I found a voice, a person who wanted to talk to me about this and understand me,
Hmm.
and it was okay if I said, I am about to come apart at the seams, and no one was going to judge me. No one was going to tell me you got to get a hold of yourself. No, it's not that way. It's such a safe space, and I think that the contact with you and or your staff and or the peer support that we love and cherish now, of course, is vital to the program personally.
Mm. But
I
the
can sit
board,
and read all day long. I can watch videos all day long. But when I look you in the eye, I can see we're having a connection right now.
yeah,
You know, I know what we're talking about, and we know we've got to get it out there for other people to find.
right, right. So you had this level of hungriness and you felt seen and heard and safe.
Yes,
So I'm
absolutely
really
safe.
happy to hear that. And then talk about boot camp. Along comes after we, yeah. So we did these little study groups. We're not doing those now, but we did these study groups as an experiment to see, will people watch it at a greater rate? What are they getting for results? And then we created this boot camp experience. What was that like for you?
In hindsight, looking back, I think the thing about the boot camp experience, the framework of the boot camp itself, it brought me to the camp. It's like, okay, you got to get up and get your clothes on and go to camp today. It's camp day. Get it going. And I think that sometimes, as the family members over here who were sitting back saying, "Oh, man, I don't know. Do I want to? Don't I? I'm not sure." I think that's what we need to. And it did. It made me get up, get dressed, and go to camp. So
You rolled up your sleeping bag and you showed up
that's
and
right.
in another program that I'm in, she calls it come all the way in and sit all the way down. And that's what
Yeah.
boot camp made you do was that you came all the way in and you sat all the way down.
Yes.
And when you
I
keep and you just and you show up, Nancy, I just want to acknowledge you. You really show up.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. I was doubting myself for a little while. I thought, are you putting enough into this? And then not so far back, like a couple weeks ago, I said to myself, you know what? Quit judging yourself.
Mm.
You're doing a fine job. Things are in so much of a better space in your heart and internally in your household than they were a year ago. Oh, well, yeah, a year ago.
Yeah,
So quit beating yourself up, Nancy. That's what I said.
I
Listen
love
to
it.
Kate and listen to her teachings.
So
And I
everything
do.
Nancy's saying now can be said to you can say to yourself if you're watching this, right? Nancy says stop beating yourself up. And the analogy I like to give for that is if you're even watching this live, you've already started to turn the ship.
Yes.
If you've purchased Stop the Chaos, the ship has already turned. We keep thinking we're not where we want to be, but we're never where we want to be because where we want to be keeps moving. So we have to really acknowledge where we are as being progress.
Then I think that's one of the other things that I have learned from the programs doing Stop the Chaos and then going to doing the boot camp, which, man, like I said, I love getting up and going to camp. And then now I'm in the mastery program as well, and going back and rewatching and rereading, et cetera, which has also branched me out in other areas to learn and get more knowledge. But I think overall, what it does is it as family members who got so beat down, it puts the life back in us
Mm.
to where we can say, okay, this is who I am now.
So
We get lost.
let's go there for a minute. Let's talk about how you got beat down and how and what actually put life back into you. I love that analogy actually because we can't help someone from a beat down place and we're
Right.
certainly not helping ourselves. So
I
what kind
think
of describe that beat down for you?
I think the well, as I said, I was addicted to my son's addictions, and I took care of people all day in my profession, and then I took care of him and his needs, trying to make sure that he was a good dad, to try to make sure that he kept a job, to try to make sure that he didn't blow the roof off of this house, et cetera, et cetera. And I never took the time for myself, and that's what this program taught me to do.
Mm,
Stop and look in within first and start working on myself, getting myself right internally so that I can make better decisions, better communication. I communicate much better now. I
mm.
do. My husband will even say that.
People have
Yeah.
noticed. People have
Yes, they
noticed.
have. My son hasn't. Okay, he ain't going to be nice to me for a while. It's okay. He's sober, far as I know. I mean, he's still living here, but that's okay. He's working and he's doing the things he's supposed to do, and he's living within his rules of the household and my personal boundaries.
So would you describe yourself as calmer, or how do you describe that you've changed in your
I
life?
am definitely calmer. I have more trust in myself internally. I have more faith in my decisions. There at last year, I never knew if I was making the right decision, if I was fixing chicken helper for dinner. It was out of my control. And now I can stop, I can see something, stop, think about it, make my decision, and then move forward, whether that be verbally, physically, or whatever it has to be.
I'm getting a sense of groundedness. Even seeing your background, this like path, it feels like
Yes.
you're more grounded in your life, and that untethered feeling that we feel, that self-trust. I love the way you
Mm.
describe this. The self-trust is really what's key. And what did you like about the specific components of boot camp?
Again, I think it was the more of the
The live
interpersonal,
the live
yeah,
sessions.
the
Yeah.
live sessions. I think that they're motivating. And again, I think that face-to-face contact just helps to build community.
Mhm.
And again, I'm not alone. I knew that before, but when I went to some meetings other places before, I wasn't really accepted in. I was just
Mhm.
told what to do. And I
Okay.
don't need to be told what to do. I need to be taught how to look within myself to find the answers of what to do that is
Mhm.
good for everyone involved, but with myself first. I have to take care of myself. If I don't put my own mask on, how am I supposed to help anybody? So
Think
that's what
about
I'm
that.
doing, basically.
That's exactly what this program is. And I sometimes like to stop and even think about what that analogy is, because I've never been on a plane and the thing has dropped down, but I
Mm.
think it through sometimes, because we say the analogy fast, but imagine a kid or an elderly person next to you. You're literally supposed to not help them. It's almost like, hold on, I, it's so unintuitive to
It seems
stop.
selfish,
Oh, totally.
totally,
But if you
but
go
it's
like this to reach out for someone else and you pass out, you're no use. And so
yes.
I really like to walk through that analogy a lot, because it's, to be graphic with it is like,
Mhm. Well, I have used another analogy in life, which really doesn't have maybe much to do with this, but I have used this with my own children, and I've said to them, you could be the best employee at a business, a corporation, whatever, but if you aren't there and you're not present, you're worthless to them.
mm,
So think about that. You've got to show up and show out.
yeah.
You
And that's the same as a loved one of someone with addiction. Are you there
Yeah,
physically, but you're
exactly.
not there emotionally and spiritually
Yes.
and practically?
Yes. Yeah.
So, how does your life look different now as a result of all of this?
Well, I have had just last night when I was at my sleep study, the technician that was with me was very kind, and we had lovely conversations, and we got to talking about some things, and recovery ended up being one of them. Go figure.
Yeah,
Um,
that happens to you a lot, doesn't it?
it does.
'Cause
I
I've
don't know,
heard of
it's the
you tell
face.
stories.
I'm not sure, but we got to talking about it, and she said, I just loved your demeanor. She said, you've got such a control and a good basis, a good base on your life. And I thought, oh, honey, if I mean seriously, if you only knew. She's 26, okay, and I'm like, oh god, if you only knew. But I kept all of that inside and basically said it's because of the work I've been doing. We have to work on ourselves. We don't always get that as just a wonderful free gift in life. So
Totally.
she's awesome. I love this young lady I was with last night. She was very, very kind.
You're a kind, beautiful. You got some loving comments here. People find you super inspiring. You're a beautiful soul, and you're very kind to others. When you're on a live, you are fully supporting other people. I hope that you're giving yourself as much love as you give others.
I'm working on it. How's that? That's an honest answer for today.
Mhm.
I'm working on it.
Same. I mean, self-love is what this is all about. really. And I believe if we have to show up loving others first and that gets us to love ourselves, then who cares?
Absolutely.
No, because by loving others, it's probably filling you up.
Well, and I think that's been my life, honestly. And I think now I'm just able to do it maybe better in proportion with my own needs.
Mhm.
Yeah, is that how I want to say that? I've always taken care of somebody, including myself. I've taken care of myself since I was 14.
You were young and kind of on your own.
I was, yes, yes. I was an emancipated minor, so I've lived on my own since I was 14. And I had no one to turn to. So I took care of myself. So there are times when I look back at that 25-year journey and the journey I'm still on with my son right now. And I say to myself, man, how did I get so out of control with this? Because if you ask anybody that's worked with me or known me the last 40, 45 years, they'd say, she's always in control, man. All I
Mhm.
got to do is go talk to her. Or the kids would say, man, I just need to talk to mom. Mom will fix anything. Mom's always in control. I had
So
an image to uphold.
so
So,
so you've always presented as in control, but what's
yeah.
maybe it was also eating at you because you have a sense of control and peace now, but it's a little bit
Mhm.
different than it used to be.
It's
Interesting.
totally different. It is totally different.
But you may not look as different on the outside to people.
Correct. I still look like
Whoa.
I'm the same person,
I love
I
that.
think. Yeah.
We don't know
Yeah.
how we're seen, right?
Because this is what everybody has seen. I went to work like this. I came home like this. This is what I did until I got home.
You've been rinsing out on the inside.
Yes.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you
Wow,
felt,
that all just kind of came to me too, just now.
well, this is the point. This is the point.
Man.
Is this is how I learn is by being in conversation. Yeah, wow, that's hitting you, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you probably haven't even seen the physical manifestation of it as it will continue to be.
Not
I'm
yet.
curious what people's thoughts are in the comments about Nancy having this kind of revelation right now. And
You
if
know,
any
I
questions.
had just posted, I was in a live with Austin
Yep,
recently,
yep.
and man, something hit me. It hit me hard. And when I got off that live, it was just like, look at the parallel, Nancy. Look, look, look. And probably what I wrote that day didn't make a whole lot of sense to some people. It was probably like, well, she just kind of needs to get it all together. But no, it was much deeper than what I could type out, you
Wow.
know.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
That's
happening a lot
so
because I'm
I
with
want to
me.
know. So there are a number of people watching your live and they're commenting. And so I'm just going to pause and check in with people. One, do you have questions for Nancy about her boot camp experience or what she's doing now? I'm going to talk about what she's doing because she referred to it as mastery. And I want to explain the path at tipping point for people because the naming is so confusing.
Yeah.
But also, what are you seeing happening for Nancy? Because what I describe it as recovering out loud in the moment, like in real time. Nancy's having this like aha that this is how I learn too. I talk, I hear myself, I see it reflected in others, and then I'm like, whoa, and then I journal, I go to sleep, I might meditate on it, I might go for a walk, and it grows. And
And I write.
you're growing your wellness is what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
So
And I will write when
you
we're
write,
done. I
you
will write
do.
things down. If
Mhm.
anybody looked at my crazy steno notebook of notes, they might not, you wouldn't be able to make sense of it, quite honestly. But when I read back through it, it's like, I remember what sparked that.
It's like puzzles, it's like putting a puzzle
And
together.
this is one of the things I learned through Stop the Chaos and boot camp, is
Mhm.
how to stop and really reflect on it, look at it, think about what you're doing before you do it.
So you're describing this journey.
Mhm.
And I do this too when I go live. And I want to know how you'd respond to this if we were in a live right now, which actually we are in Facebook, but if we were on TikTok and comments were, you could see the comments coming. At this stage in your conversation, if someone said, so what do I do to help my loved one? How would you answer that?
My answer to them would be, well, my first answer would be, well, you need to find Kate Duffy. And she wrote a book. It's called Dear Family. And then you need to go look for tipping point recovery. And then I would say you need to find yourself within yourself first. Allow yourself to recover, because the ripples of your recovery will go out to the ones around you. That's what I would say.
I love it because you just literally, we've been on for 15, 20 minutes. And to me, you just answered how you do it in your chat, but it's not concrete for people. Although you just gave a very concrete, buy this book, go here, recover yourself, find
Recover
yourself.
yourself.
That's not fast enough for some people. People
Yeah.
get frustrated at like, yeah, but what do I do? This,
And
this.
I've been noticing for some time now that I don't know that I really knew who myself was. I'm really kind of finding myself again. I'm 67 years old. I'm not a youngster. And I have had an adult child live with me the majority of it, not a child, I'm sorry. I've had an adult live with me the majority of my child or my life, off and on, because of various reasons. I've got two adult children living with me right now, as well as an adult grandchild and another dog. Putting my tips and techniques and my patience to the test.
Hmm.
But we're getting through it. And you know what? Progress is being made for them too.
Mm.
It's rippling. They walked into a house of ripples here. They just don't know it. We'll call this Ripples on Elm Street. That's what we'll call it. Oh, I kind of like that.
I like that
Our
too.
house looks like Nightmare on Elm Street, so we don't want to go there on the outside, but I could call it Ripples on Elm Street. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do
Ripples
that.
of recovery. You are like the
Yes,
rock in the water. It can't help but impact those around. I want you guys to put in the comments for
I'm
Nancy. What do
hoping.
you see and hear from Nancy? Let's give it to her in the comments. What do you see and hear? Because this is really hard to articulate. Nancy's doing a great job, but she's finding herself. When you first found us in May, did you think you needed to find yourself and find self-trust? Is that
No,
what you were looking for?
no, I was just looking for a way that I could stay on this side of the dirt. Let me put it that way, to be safe here on Zoom, TikTok, wherever this is going,
Yeah.
Facebook, wherever. I don't know. Um, that's the point I was at.
Wow.
My life wasn't worth it.
Mm.
Wasn't worth it. It's like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this. I'm done. Now, I had grandchildren by then. Well, I've had grandchildren for years. They're all adults. But I was to the point of I'm done. I'm not
And
anymore. It's
this
like,
was like a
watch out,
bottom.
people,
This was like a
because
bottom. Would you describe that as a bottom?
definitely a tipping point.
Yeah, for sure.
I did.
Wow.
I did feel like just a flat slate on the ball rock, and
Yeah.
it was. I do believe it was there was a tipping point that came, and when I started with you, my son was asked to leave. Well, no, he wasn't asked to leave this home. He was given a couple of choices. He chose to leave the home. It's the first time my son has ever left this home, and he was sleeping in his car. That was new to me. I wouldn't have gotten through it without this program, without Stop the Chaos, without the support, without people saying, we believe in you
Mm.
and we believe in your choices. They weren't saying, do this, do that, do this, do that. We believe in your choices. Stay strong. And if
Wow.
you need us, we're here for you. And see that to me, that is just the world. Do I see a therapist? Oh, yeah, every 2 weeks, have for
Okay.
years, for
I love
probably 15 years. Yeah. I'm a
that.
2 time a month for 15 years. So
Love that.
I got a lot to unpack.
So Jackie asked, what does it mean to find yourself?
I think to me, it means to find my purpose at this point in my life. My purpose now isn't what it was 20 years ago. My purpose now, in my mind, is just different. I think I have to present myself differently. So therefore, it's funny how these recovery conversations come up with me. I don't know how that happens, but maybe that is my purpose in life. I don't know.
Yeah, you're a beacon.
I,
I believe when we do what we're doing here, your lights go on internally. And imagine we all have this 100 panel light switches, right?
mm,
The more of them that are turned on, you're a brighter light, you're shining. And I do believe it will attract others who need the help. That's just kind of what I
yes.
believe we're doing. And hopefully that helps, Jackie. Tiffany wrote, we lose ourselves in others and need to find ourselves aside from them. That I resonate with that.
Yeah, I need to be me because I'm me, not because I
Think you need
transported
me
my
to act,
kids.
or that you think I need to act a certain way. I'm
Yeah.
still discovering, and I say it like I'm surprised. I shouldn't be. I teach it. I'm a work in progress as a family member and as a person in recovery. And I'm constantly coming up against this. There it is again. Where I making when I, so let me try to answer this. What does find myself mean? That's the question I want to answer. Find myself is an ongoing journey. And
Mm,
what it means to me is that my decisions are not based on what I think others want, what I think others need. They're cleanly based on what I want. And do I do that all the time? Absolutely not.
oh,
Because my default is to be like, well, like if
go back.
in relationship, especially in family, we get constantly tested on, are you doing that because you think it's what they want or need, or they're going to accept you or like you, or it's the mask
Mm,
you're wearing? Or are you
mhm,
doing that because you truly want to?
mhm. I understand that one.
Yeah, that's what find myself means is like Tiffany said, where am I in context to others?
Yeah. Yes.
It's such a beautiful thing because like someone will say, because I want to move. I don't know
Mhm.
where I want to go because all of the times I ever moved was based on what I thought someone else would want me to do. So
Right, right.
where do I really want to go? I have no flipping idea because I'm still working on finding that part of myself that has nothing to do with other people.
And there's something in there that needs to be quenched with wherever you move to, but you don't know what it is yet.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you stay curious and keep looking for it. On kind of on the same topic, but off. I just had a new great grandbaby be born, and 2 weeks after she was born, she still didn't have a name. Now we had talked prior to the birth. We had talked at the birth. I said, "So what are we gonna name her?" And she goes, "I don't know. I haven't decided yet." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, get to know her." And that's what they did for 2 weeks. They got to know her. They
Wow.
worked, they just took care of their baby,
I have goosebumps.
and then they named her, and her name is Ella Ray.
I love it.
And she's beautiful and they're happy. And okay, so she was just baby for 2 weeks. It's okay.
I love that. I've
Yeah.
never heard that.
People were all worked up about when are they gonna name her? When are they gonna name her? I said, when they're ready. It's their baby. It's their time.
Ooh. So in that small little story, what kind of confidence would you need to have to allow others to have their experience of what you were doing or not doing and be okay with it?
A
Because it's
year
not
ago,
what
I'd
we're
have
doing.
been freaking out. I'd have been
Yeah.
like, what do you mean you haven't named the baby yet? You got to get this done.
Like, why though?
It's like, why?
I totally would have been the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And my youngest was born, and a couple hours later, we named her. I had two choices, and I remember my husband saying, "Kate, pick one," because I have to call the office. And I was like, okay, so I picked one. That's how we named her. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. Imagine waiting. I can't imagine waiting 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I had surprise twins, so I just used the boy name and the girl name I had already picked out. So I
There you
just
go.
used them. It was the easy thing to do. So
Kayla's saying I need to find myself again. If anyone's resonating with this, I need to find myself again. You're right, you do. And don't we think it's a forever journey?
it is a forever journey, and it's difficult because as women, we are wives, we are mothers, we are grandmothers. Now, I've become a great grandmother, and from what I understand, there are new responsibilities on me that I was not aware of. Okay. I am the dog sitter, I am the problem solver, I am the bill payer. Shall I keep going?
Yeah, right.
Like, and it can be so overwhelming. But what I found out is all the time that I spent trying to keep a lid on addiction in my household, I really kind of made things worse for myself and my son.
I can totally relate to that.
So, in hindsight, I would have done things much differently, or I would have approached them differently. Let me say that. Could the outcome have been the same? Sure, the outcome of could still be the same. We could still be here 25 years down the road looking for a good, sober life, but that's his choice. Right now, he's just working on getting his monies built up so he can get his own place. And I'm like, cool, bye
Wow.
bye soon. I love you,
Yeah.
but you got to go. And I think one of the things he's learned, because I did hear him say this to somebody about 5 months ago, she's like, no, I'm not going to mess around. No, ain't no way. She'll throw me out now. I know that.
Wow.
I came around the corner. I was like, ooh, did I just hear that? I
Yeah.
didn't, I didn't comment. I stayed back behind.
So you're watching him be in his lane, owning his stuff. You gave him the opportunity to own his stuff. And by the way, the message here is never that you're going to kick them out, but
Nope,
what he means by that is she's not co-signing any of this
nope,
anymore, and she's not going to support addiction.
nope.
So I'll have to go on my own, and I don't want to. That's him. That's you letting him find his way.
Don't ask me for cigarettes. Don't ask me for money. You need something, get a job, which he's got a job. So that's
Yeah.
redundant, but I'm not doing it. I'm not doing your laundry. I'm not cleaning up after you. It's not my job. I'm your mother. I'm here to love you.
Oh, so I'm going to give an assignment that just came to mind for people watching this. If you resonate with, I need to find myself, you're not even maybe sure what that means. I
Mhm.
would love people in this thread to tell us three things about yourself that are who you are, but have nothing to do with your relationships to other people, your job.
Mhm.
So don't be using, I'm a mom or I'm a lawyer. No. Who are you? Who is your essence?
Ooh, I like
Three,
that.
I know, three adjectives to describe you. Put them in the comments here. Nancy will go back and do hers. I'll do mine. Gonna have to think about this one because you can't use any of your how you show up in the world, your relationships, because that's not who you are. You're
Mm-mm.
something else. Think of your soul, your essence,
Mm,
what's unique to you. Let's
mhm,
challenge
mhm.
ourselves and put,
Good. I like that.
yeah, me too. It just came to me.
And I
Um,
think this is another component of the program, Kate, that works.
mm,
Challenge. We must
yeah,
challenge ourselves. We have to challenge our minds. I have learned. Step
action.
out of the box.
Yeah, step out of the box, take action. Recovery is an action word.
Yeah.
And so, oh, I did want to say lastly, I wanted to describe for people that aren't familiar what these names of our programs mean.
Mm.
So, and we're working on naming these in a way that makes sense to people. But when you first join Tipping Point, it's recommended that you purchase the training. Family skills training is a word I'm using lately, or a phrase, because it's family skills training, how to deal with addiction in an effective way. And that is called Stop the Chaos. The second thing you can do is join the live experience, which we call boot camp. It's like Nancy says, going to camp.
That's
It's
right.
basically taking those trainings that we want you to watch and watching them and then coming to group sessions to talk about them.
Yeah, I
Right.
love it.
And then what Nancy decided to do after boot camp ended was she decided to stay in our long-term program. And we call that recovery mastery. What that we mean is now that you've learned how to recover by the principles, that's not enough. Now you need to master it. And that's what Nancy's doing because she didn't want to stop her journey. So,
Yeah, yeah.
any last words to people that are thinking we have a boot camp coming up in April
Mhm,
and we're inviting people to get on the wait list now? Anything you want
mhm.
to say to people that are in that place of like, God, do I want to open this up? Do I really want to learn more? What are they going to ask me to do?
Um, don't be afraid of the commitment, the physical commitment to it. Let me say, of well, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this worksheet. You'll find that it's not a chore. You'll find that you look forward to it. You'll find that the relief that you get from just taking your 1 hour a day or your 30 minutes a day or whatever you assign uh, to yourself personally, give yourself personally to work on your boot camp or your stop the chaos or whatever you're doing. But especially the boot camp, it's so worth it. You are worth it. That's what I want to say to you. You're worth it.
You're worth it. You're,
100%. And your family is worth it too. They just don't know it yet.
and they don't need to know it yet.
They don't need to know
You
it.
can do this in secret
Yeah.
first.
And my son is back here. He lives with us again, but he
Mhm.
came back with tough conditions. He asked to come back. Sober. He was already clean and sober when he came back.
And he came back to a different mom.
Yep. Yeah,
Sorry,
he
not
did.
sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Nancy, I adore you. People are starting to put their
Thank you.
three qualities in there. So I can't wait to see how we
Beautiful.
describe
Beautiful.
ourselves. Imagine just be that essence that you are today. And Nancy, thanks for your honesty and your
Thank you.
love. You're so much love. Again, turning it, all that love you give out, turn it right back in because just crazy,
Always.
crazy about you. And thanks
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's an honor. It
Appreciate it.
truly is. All right, let's keep up the
Appreciate
good
it.
work.
Yeah, we'll
Bye.
see you in the Facebook group.
All right, thank you.
Bye.